We're going to pop this color in. Okay, so let's see. Let's pop it in, maybe right here, and don't worry about it. Just pop it in wherever your intuition guides you, okay? Pop a little bit on the side. Because we're going to come back and cover all that up, so don't stress about it. A little bit over here. Okay. I'm going to pop it in like that. Okay, and then we'll come back in and drop our stems and work on our leaves. Now, let's go back over this. Because this is actually, I painted over another painting that I done last night that I did not like. So I slapped this background color you see on here and just painted over it. So it needs another coat of the background color. So we're going to add some more red into this. A little bit of white. Mix it up. Let's see. Hope you guys can see what I'm doing. I can't see the camera. And then we're just going to pop it in like this. And we're going to go over our flowers again also, so don't worry about that. Remember, don't worry about making a mistake. It's just have fun. Just have fun and do what you're led to do. What you're pulled to do when it comes to painting. That's what I do. Okay. And this brush may lose some hairs. It's a cheap brush from, I think, Walmart. It's one of those cheap house brushes you paint your house with. But I like the size of it, so I went ahead and grabbed it one day. It does lose hair, so if you decide to go with this kind of brush, be very aware of the bristles coming out. And I always think, in the back of my mind, I always keep in mind, there's nothing that can't be fixed. There's nothing that you, especially with acrylic paint, there's nothing that you can't fix or go over. So, just don't worry about it. Let me cross over right here. On this side. And we do want to have a source of light. So one side, I may make one side lighter than the other. Since I had my shadow over here earlier, I'm going to keep that. So the light will be coming from this way, this direction. So we'll make this side a little bit lighter. Now the thing about recording and painting outside is this light is not very forgiving at all. We're in natural light. So mistakes will show, but who cares? Who cares? We're not going for realism. This is not a commission piece, so do what you want to do. Alright, now I got some green mixed in there. Wipe some of that off. So I got that green that popped on this side because this will be my darker side. Okay, now I need to refill my palette really quick. One second, you guys. And just do what you want to do. Paint what you want to paint, the way you want to paint it. I love impressionistic art. I love the big, thick brush strokes and the colors not blended and just a lot of expression, a lot of feeling in it. That's what I like. But when I started with painting kind of realistic, not too realistic, kind of like maybe I learned a lot from the Art Sherpa, painting with Jane, Angela Anderson. Those are some painters that are on YouTube. Really awesome artists. That's how I started learning how to paint. Then I started following Bob Burgess, Bridges. I'm not sure how you say his last name, but he's under Bob Blast on YouTube. Awesome artist. More of the impressionistic style. If that's what you like. He's a fountain of information. So go check him out. He's got some wonderful tips and very educational channel for artists. Okay, we're just going to leave that right there for now. Okay. So now, let's see. Is this dry? Not too much. You see there's a hair right here, and I couldn't get that out a while ago. Let me go ahead and pick that out now. I couldn't get this hair out a while ago because the paint was still wet. And there. I would have just made the paint lift. So, I don't know what I want to do. Let's go ahead and start, up in here, I guess, right here. And let's put some white in. Let's lighten some of this up. I'm trying to stay out of the way of the camera so you guys can see exactly what I'm doing here. Okay, now let's drop in some stems. Let's see where our stems are going to go. And what I do is I just take the tip of my big brush and lay it into whatever color it is I'm going for. Oh my God, get off the camera, cat. Cats are out here. Okay. And then we are going to do this. This will be our stems for now. And I just pop those in like that. Because remember, they're underwater, so they're going to be distorted and not going to have the full form. If you look at a vase of flowers, you'll see that the stems are a little distorted. They're pushed this way and that. But now, if you want your stem stick straight and perfect, that's fine. Go for it. It's your painting. You do what you want to do, how you want to do it. That's what art is about. It's about your own personal expression. Okay. Let's see. So I like that. I like that stem right there. Okay. Oh, nice. Okay. So pop one up here. Let's go from the bottom and up. Give it a little bit of... Okay, that's our stems. Alright. Take my rag. Pull that green off. Now I won't use this brush again since that green has been placed on there until I start doing my shadows. I won't use this one. I have another one. I have this one. Slightly smaller, but still considered, rather big. Flat brush. We're going to define some of this vase again with some white. And maybe I might grab my big brush again and work on these leaves a little bit. So this is how I paint. This is what I do. I just bounce from spot to spot to spot on the canvas, wherever I want to work next. I'm sorry, I cut my camera off for just a minute. Okay. So I'm going to go in, and again, just using the edge of the brush, just the very tip edge. We'll go in, we'll kind of carve us out, and carve out a vase. It doesn't have to be perfect. We're not professionals. And remember, if you get a little color mixed in, that's fine, because this is a clear vase, and it's going to reflect color. Color is going to bounce all into this vase. And we'll be adding our water line. So you're going to have colors up here, you're going to have colors down here, you're going to have colors on the side. And the sun's coming back out. Alright. I hope I'm not getting in your guys' way. Okay. And let's pop a little bit of white up in here. And you know you'll have reflection. Reflection is everywhere because it is a clear vase. So let's pop some there. Let's pop some on the side down here. Your light's coming this way. So let's pop something there, up here, here, and there. And then just lightly make some strokes, some white strokes, which will, you know, kind of account for reflection. And smudge it. Get your fingers in there and smudge and smear. That's what I like to do. I like to get my fingers in the paint and make it do what I want it to do. Okay. That's going to be that. All right. I'm going to brush or wipe this brush off. And let's see. I'm going to go, trying to think of what I want to do next. I'm going to do something with these flowers. Let's see. So let's take this, magenta, a little bit of green to tone it down some. Your green will always gray out your magenta. Let's do a little bit of white or your red, whichever color you're using. Green will, not too much though, because you'll end up with mud, which, you know, I found a lot of uses for muddy colors. I don't know if I've actually gone into a video about that before, but I found a lot of uses for muddy colors. Actually, I want to pick up thicker paint than that. I see now I've graded too much. That's okay. Pop some paint back in there. Can't be fixed. Alright, here we go. Oh, I don't know if I like that. Let's see. It's a bit too gray for my liking. There we go. That's a little bit better. A little bit more pink in there. And it's not anything that cannot be fixed. Do not forget. You can fix it if you don't like it. You see, I'm still using my big brush. Haven't changed brushes. Still going at it with my big one. That helps keep you loose. It helps stop the brain from wanting to make, you know, all these big details that take away from the impressionistic view of it. I'm just kind of making just these swirls. There'll be a petal coming out that way, petal coming out that way, like that. I'm just using the tip. I'm using the tip to guide my flowers in the direction I want them to go. And we're going to go over these again, so don't panic. I know it's a hot mess right now, but it'll get better, I promise. Trust the mess. Trust the mess. Okay, now we're going to let those dry and wipe our brush off again. Wasn't crazy with the tone, with the color of the roses when I came out here, this hot pink. I wasn't crazy. It didn't look like that in the house. That's the difference between painting in natural light and your bulb light. It's not, and see this blue green, I kind of didn't want that. I want it to be more of olive green, which it looks olive green in the house, but it doesn't look like that out here. It looks, I want it to look this color, so we're gonna have to go over this stuff. So I want to tone down these, and then we're gonna come back through in a few minutes and maybe throw some white on them. Okay, so let's do the leaves. I'm gonna go back to my big brush. Off to the side right here. And we're going to put some white in that. Okay. And we are going to start bringing in our leaves. Hear that noise? Love that noise. I love it. Sound of brush on canvas. I'll keep seeing them going. Here we go. And I'm just mixing with the corner of my brush, the green and the white, until I get it where I like it. Oh yeah, I like that. That's nice. We're going to come back in with a darker color over this light green. And come back in with that. I'm going to pop some down here. Our stems. Okay. I'm going to go wipe this off. And I actually may go in with my roses with a slightly smaller brush just to tighten up the leaves a little bit. Since I do have that dark pink under there, they're not turning out quite the way I wanted them, which is fine. We can fix that. So, see the strokes this brush makes? I love that. Love it, love it, love it. Okay. So, let's do this. Let's go ahead and work on these petals. And we're going to use a filbert with a long handle. The longer the handle, the looser the stroke. So you won't be in like this trying to make every little detail. You're gonna back away and just make marks. That's all you're gonna do. Make marks. All right. So take your magenta and a glob of white. Big glob. Don't be shy with the white. Big glob, big glob. We're going to use lots of paint here. And we might want to tone it down just a hair. Watch adding your green when you tone. You seen what happened a while ago, because it will drag it down. Let's see. Okay, let's get some more white. And there is green also in the white that I'm mixing. So, got to be aware of that. Okay, you see all the paint I have on this? Look at that. I have a massive amount of paint on this brush. And this is how I make my flowers. And there's hairs all along this canvas where that brush just fell apart. But that's okay. Just paint around them. And I'm standing back here where the camera's at. I mean, I'm nowhere near this canvas right now as I'm painting. We're going to go back in and fix our centers. If we lose our centers, it's not a problem. We'll go back in and find them. They're not lost forever. Grab more paint. Yes, okay. And where I want to see the V, how I make my V, that is accentuating like maybe a spot that will be considered to the viewer as a petal. Those petals that fall out of the edge of the rose. Hopefully. Oh no, it turned blue. Okay. Hold on, you guys. I fixed this. Somehow I got blue mixed up in that. Okay, well we want different tones anyway, so that's fine. And we're just gonna making marks. Making marks that you would consider to be, you know, the marks of a rose. And everybody's different. Everybody has different views. But initially, it's all the same. Your brain will fill in, or the viewer's brain will fill in what you leave out as an impressionistic painter in the painterly style. A person's brain is really good at saying, oh, yeah, I know what that is. That's a flower. So you can just make subtle hints about what this is and where you want it to be, what you want it to do. And people's brain will fill in the rest. Doesn't have to be extremely detailed. And now I'm just kind of touching in with some pure white, titanium white. Just a little hints. And my painting style is, I keep going till I get something I like. That's why I don't make a lot of videos, because I never know what I may end up with. I have a general idea of what I want to paint when I begin to paint, but I never know if it's going to turn out right, if I'm going to head in a whole other direction. So I tend not to record as much because of that. And I don't think I should be that way. I don't think anybody should be that way, especially artists. Especially artists that aren't painting in realism. You know, just paint what you want to paint. I'm sorry if y'all hear doors opening and closing and people coming in and out. Oh, let's do this one. Let's take care of this big one up here. Oh, sorry. Alright. And I've got my blue again. Hold on. Gotta fix that. Okay. Here we go. Alright. And that is our flowers for now. Alright. And I'm going to pull the paint off. And we will go back into our leaves. I don't think I'm going to use my super large brush. We're going to go back down to this one for the leaves, because I want it to be a bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? Look more like a leaf. This is, I like it, although I do like how this looks, this wasn't my plan for the video, so we're going to use this one and see how this one does. And if it doesn't work okay, we'll go down to a small brush, it's fine. But I love using big brushes, so we're going to start here. Okay, grab some white. Oh, I keep forgetting I got to hold it up for the camera. Sorry, guys. Okay. Alright, let me step across. We're going to start over here. Yeah, I like that better. That's a little bit better for me. Okay. What was that? I was barking from neighbors. Okay. And this, and this, and this. I always like to overlap leaves. Told y'all before, I always like to overlap leaves onto my flowers. It gives it more dimension. And we're just making marks. We're making marks and we're keeping what we like. How about that? Does that make sense? How I explain it like that? You're going to make marks and actually keep what you like. And what you don't like, you're going to paint over and get rid of. That's the beauty of acrylics. See, I'm not crazy about this, so I'll probably end up painting over that. And we're bringing it layers. Layers, layers, layers. I know you've heard that. especially if you're painting with acrylics or followed a lot of tutorials all about layers with acrylics. That's what you want, layers. Sorry if you hear chickens. Layers. And pop some on the side and the bottom because you know we have that reflection going on in our vase. We've got to add that water line. Like I've told people before, no, I haven't taken an art class. Why don't you take an art class? No, because I don't want all those rules in my head. Some are nice to, you know, some are okay. You have to follow, like some of the color mixing and all that jazz. But to me, the more rules I have in my head, the less I want to do it. You know, let me know in the comments if you feel the same way. The less you want to do it. The more rules you have to keep up with and follow, and I can't stand for somebody to say, if you want to make good art, don't use mud. If you want to make good art, don't do this or don't do that. If you want your art to be good, well, your definition of good and my definition of good are two different definitions, okay? So, how about I just do what I want to do? Okay. And again, we're going to come back and redefine the flowers. So this is a process. Like, this painting may have 18 layers of paint on it by the time I'm done, because I want to change this, the direction of that flower, add more petals, or get rid of that and add a leaf, or change some of this. We do need to add our water line, so let's do that. We're going to use this light green and dark green mixed up. We're going to add a paint a little bit, and then you're just going to pick where you want your water line to be. I think I'm going to put mine right here, and we're going to dab, 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 dab. That's what we're going to do. Just like that. That's your water line. Line straight. You want to try to get your water line straight. I don't think this is straight, but you get the picture. Like I said, we're just practicing today. This isn't anything that's going up for sale. This isn't a commission piece. You know, I'm not doing realism. This isn't for a class. So it's going to be the way I want it to be. Alright. And then when we come back with for our petals again, we may use a smaller brush just to get in a little more depth, a little more detail in some of these. We're going to bring our middles back in. Okay. I've got to refill some paint. I'll be right back. Okay, everybody, I forgot to turn the camera back on, but I made some adjustments. I went back to my smaller filbert, if you can see it, and defined some leaves. Wasn't crazy with that big, huge brush, the house painting brush I got. So I'm going to stick with this for now with the long handle. And I want to add some more depth in my arrangement up here. So I'm going to get a brown. Get over here so you can see. I'm going to get a brown and a dark gray, kind of mix these together. You can always test how light or dark your color is by adding some white. I'll let you see about where you're at. Put some green in that. Brown. Okay, and then we're just gonna pick some spots to add some depth. Not much, not big strokes, just a little bit here and there. Because then we're going to go back and lay a lighter color over it. That's what's going to add the depth. And you know, I never took art classes, never went to art school. Learned most of everything that I do know from watching painters on YouTube. So, you know, this isn't going to be perfect. And I'm okay with that. You got to start being okay with it not being perfect. In just a minute, I'll wipe off and show you exactly how I did these leaves. I wanted y'all to see everything. And of course, I forget to put the camera on. Okay. And sometimes I like to come in and kind of, well, it's drying really fast right now, but kind of smudge some of the areas like this. Let's put this out here, right here, and then kind of just smear it. And you just smear. And that's going to add to the depth also. I don't know what's going on over there. That's the neighbors. Okay, so remember, lights and darks are going to be your definition for your painting. This is what's going to bring it in and out for the viewer. So you want to have that contrasting value in there, you know, here and there. or your painting will tend to look a little, you know, just flat. When I do my leaves, I use my flat end, and then as I come up, I'll use the toe. Flat end, toe, flat end, toe. And then fill it in how you want it. You see the colors that are pushed to the belly of the brush right here? I kind of flatten out and make sure I use those, because I kind of like how they just mix in on their own. You know, just anywhere that you see needs some contrast, just pop some contrast in it. And we'll work on the flowers in just a second, so I'm going to have to call it quits. And knowing when to quit when you're painting loose, that's another thing. Knowing when to quit. It is not hard to overwork a painting at all. Lay some light in here, just because this is where our light source is coming from this section, so we want to pop some light on this side. Lighten up the tips here a little bit. And this side is our darker side. This is where our shadow's at. Just try to keep in mind where your shadows, where your light source is at, where your shadows need to be. I mean, I'm not a big stickler on it. Hell, I have done some paintings that didn't even have shadow. Forgot all about it. Get in the zone and I forgot to even put shadows, so this is all about practicing. Practicing and figuring out what you like to do and the techniques you like to work with. That's all this is about. And then as we come across, we're going to be back into our shadow area. So I may grab some blue this time, some blue-gray, some green, just to darken up. Just throw some white, just a tad bit of white in there. Okay. And this will be, you know, our shadow area, because our light's over there. So everything on this side will be just a little bit darker. You see, I'm just barely touching with the tip of the brush, filling in my shadow. Barely touching. And that's just a mix of all the dark colors I've used in the painting and a dab of a yellow. Just a dab. And your painting's always going to be darker under here, where your subject's sitting. It's always going to be a dark shadow under that. Sorry if the cat rips the camera down. I'm sorry, you guys. He cannot stand not having my attention. I'm trying to paint and watch him to make sure he doesn't rip everything apart. Okay. There we go. I want to fill it right here. A little bit. There. Okay. Drinking water. Light touches. Alright, if we have more time, we'll probably do this and, of course, go over our roses. I may come back later, do another video for a part 2 of fixing the roses. But for now, this is all I have time for. Okay, hope you guys enjoyed. And got something from this, and I will see you guys later. Bye.